Share. And welcome to another episode of Witch Hat Chats, presented by the ever moving We Rise Temple, Moonlight Potions and Charms, and the Laughing Soul Holistic Center. I am your host, Nikki Kirby, along with my co host, Pam Griffith. And we are known as the Witchy Ones. Say hello, Pam.
Hey, y'all.
Yes, we are actually excited today because we got a special Maybon edition today for you. But before we get into that, we got a few announcements. One is the Ever Moving We Rise Temple will be having their Red Tent event this Saturday, September 12th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's going to be hosted by Pam. So, Pam, tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, yes, that red tent is awesome. That's where we just get together and we have our little hen session. So nothing is taboo, nothing is off limits. Come on in, have a good time, have a few laughs. Trust me, we have tears of joy and tears of sorrow. So share your pain and share your joy with us. Starting at 9, we run to about 11. We also have our chat room up so that if you have a question and you just really can't feel free enough to ask it, type it in and we'll get ask it. It remains totally anonymous. We never ask. Also, I know our men's green tent was last night, but I also want to plug Chad again. He does a men's green tent. If you identify as a man, please, first Saturday of the month, get with Chad and his group. They have a ball. And it is not talking about how to fix your car. They have a little bit more of a structured program, but it's thought provoking and it's kind of different because men usually don't get together and do that. So there's a plug for Chad. Shouts out, he supports us 150% and we support him 200% from us girls. So look for your red tents and your green tents as they come up. And always remember, red tents are on second Saturday, green tents are your first Saturday. So look for us at 9 o'clock on Saturday nights.
Oh yes. So I'm really looking forward to the red tent because we do have a lot of fun. And as you said, Chad is excellent when it comes to the green tent. Now, like her, I have absolutely no idea what really goes on there. I mean, that's a male kind of thing. But you know what? You guys get together, go into your little man cave and do your thing, okay? So, anyway, the next announcement is that for Maybon, Moonlight Potions and Charms is having a sale on all of their products. So you can get 10% off when you use the coupon code Maybon. And so it's already started and it ends September 22nd. So that is something that's really, really great to be able to look for. You get 10% off with your products. So we have a wonderful show for you today, including some Maybon history, how to make corn dollies, how to make God's eyes, and some divination is going to come up. So we're going to be able to do that, and we're going to have a little bit of a good time. So if you give me a half a second here, Miss Pam can tell you more about what's going to come up.
Well, everybody wants to know, what do you do for Maybon? How do you celebrate it at home? And how can you celebrate it with your kids? Because we're not teaching our little guys, somebody else will be. So if you want to have some input on what they're learning in a spiritual way, take your holidays, get them together and start celebrating. Nikki's been wonderful at setting us up early so that we can hit you with our shows early for the holidays so you have time to prepare for them. So thank you, Nikki, for all of that good stuff that you do.
Thank you, Pam, for helping me out. All right, our first video is going to be about Maybon's history and a few other things. So let me get that. Go ahead and start sharing that. That's not the right one.
Cool. Live TV, people, you can't get any better than this.
That's right. That's right. You can't get any better than this. Okay, let's do this again. We're going to share, and here we go. Maybon is the last holiday of the 8 holidays of the witch's wheel of the year. It is celebrated on the autumn equinox and falls between September 20th to the 22nd. The distribution and complications of the harvest is the reason why Maybon is celebrated on a number of days instead of one day. Equinox means equal nights. So it occurs twice a year where the northern and the southern hemispheres receive the same amount of light. And this is achieved because the Earth is tilted at a right angle to the imaginary Earth Sun line where the sun is directly over the equator. So therefore, making the days and nights equal. In the northern hemisphere, the nights get longer until the spring equinox. On the equinox, the sun rises in the South Pole for the first time in 6 months, and the sun rises exactly in the east and sets exactly in the west. So for pagans, Mabon is the second harvest festival and is our Thanksgiving as we give thanks for surviving the winter. We are not just thankful for our food, we also remember and are thankful for the sacrifices we and others made to make sure that we got here. Aiden Kelly is the reason why modern pagans call this holiday Mabon. Since there are 4 fire festivals, which are Imbolc, Beltane, Lammas, and Samhain, had Celtic names, Kelly wanted to balance them by using Saxon names for the remaining holidays. Since he was not able to find a Saxon name, he resourced to Celtic sources. He looked at the Celtic tale of Mabon, which is a tale about a son named Mabon being abducted from his mother. Mabon means son of mother. Kelly saw the similarity to the story of Persephone and drew a spiritual link of having a child stolen from the goddess. So it was from this that he resulted in calling the autumn equinox holiday Mabon. The autumn equinox is celebrated throughout the world and contains many different names. To the Greeks, the Eleusinian mysteries. The Eleusinian mysteries are based on the story of Demeter and Persephone. There are different versions of the story, but Hades fell in love with Persephone, but she refused him, and Hades kidnapped her and took her down to the underworld. Well, Demeter had no idea what happened to her daughter or where she was, and despite her efforts to search for her daughter, she was not able to find Persephone. So Demeter had received word of what happened to Persephone and went to Zeus, who refused to do anything about it. Well, you know what? You don't do that to an earth goddess. Because as an earth goddess, Demeter grieved for her daughter to return to her and refused to allow anything to grow. And this would continue until she was reunited with her daughter. Well, Zeus finally realized that without food, his people would starve and die. So Zeus insisted Hades to return Persephone immediately. But Hades had tricked Persephone into eating 6 pomegranate seeds, which is the fruit of the dead. And according to the rules of nature, Persephone could not emerge from the underworld. Well, you know what? Demeter, she being the earth goddess, she actually insisted and she put her foot down. So a partial negotiation came to be. Persephone would emerge from the underworld for 6 months of the year, and the other 6 months she would return to the underworld at the side of Hades. Now, the Greeks take this very, very seriously. So, the Festival of Greater Mysteries occurs every 4 years and lasts for 10 days. It starts on the full moon before the autumn equinox and includes a procession. In China, the Harvest Moon Festival is also known as the Mid Autumn Festival and is celebrated where farmers continue to reap their crops until the light of the full moon. The Chinese calendar is a lunar calendar, and the festival is held on the 15th day of the 8th month of the lunar calendar. So, this is a time where children are allowed to stay up so late that they can watch the moon rise with their families and eating moon cakes. So, symbolized by the moon, heaven is honored for blessing their ancestors gave them throughout the year. Pam is going to love this next holiday because it's called Kuru no Ha, and it's a Japanese holiday that occurs on September 15th. Now, Kuru no Ha means respect for the aged day, a traditional Confucius value. In ancient Japan, the age of 65 is considered ancient. It represents the end of a complete astrological cycle. So today, the age is over 70. But Japan offers gifts to its elderly citizens. And I think that we really should be able to adopt that over here because we don't give enough value to our elders. And they are the ones that help us through our times of triumph. They are the ones that teach us what we need to know in order to be able to survive. So in Britain, named for the Archangel Michael, Michaelmas is celebrated on September 29th and is celebrated as both a harvest festival and a time to settle debts, hiring help, take an inventory, and a time of hospitality and forgiveness. Families would prepare a feast with a goose, which is a traditional offering of payment for rent, because a goose was considered rich, and to feast on something so rich is to be prosperous throughout the upcoming year. Started by Suzanne and Duke Ebert, the International Pagan Pride Day was borrowed from Gay Pride. It's one of the most internationally celebrated pagan gatherings in the world. Pagan Pride is celebrated throughout the autumn season and in many different parts of the world. It is a time to create tolerance and understanding and reduce discrimination, and it's open to the public. So, that is a little bit of Mabon history for you and how it's celebrated around the world. Okay, bam, I'm back. Yay. So, Pam, how did you love that holiday? I can't hear you, Pam.
Me unmute here. I did learn a few things, and that was interesting. I learned how we got the name Mabon. I did not know that. That's interesting. It's also very interesting how it's a holiday that's been celebrated in all traditions, and except America, we don't really have a Mabon, and our Thanksgiving is in November for this country. But yeah, that's really cool, and I think you're right. We need to celebrate our elders a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, I do. It's like actually it was Abraham Lincoln who officially made Thanksgiving on the fourth Thursday in November. So, that's kind of like our version of Thanksgiving. And that's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, only bird.
But no, I found it really interesting when I started to really look at other traditions and so forth. And we get a lot of the same themes throughout, which our audience will learn later on in the show. But now we're going to be doing corn dollies. And Miss Pam, do you want to introduce this one for us?
Okay, get out your crafty witchy hats and get them on, and let's go and look and see what a corn dolly is all about.
All right.
Hey, and welcome to our little craft corner. We're going to do the corn dollies that we had talked about earlier. I've started mine. I've just cut it evenly right here to cut the end off. That makes it a little bit easier for me to peel the husks off. For the lady corn dolly, you're going to need 4 good size husks. Now we have a corn dolly, we have a Kiernanos, and we also have, believe it or not, a horse. We're not going to attempt the horse. We're going to just see if we can get the dolly done first. So you need your husks, and trying to get as many as I can off of one to make it look nice. You're also going to need some thread or twine. I have a very heavy thread that I like to use. I'm going to cut a couple pieces off. Remember, this is a craft you're doing with the kids, so if you don't want sharp scissors, then cut all of this ahead of time so that you'll have it for them. I'm going to cut because there's a couple times when I'm going to not be able to use both my hands. This is really a two-person thing here. If Nikki could, she'd reach through and help me. I'm sure she would while she sits here and laughs at me. Nikki has been absolute wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. She is our tech. She is a wizard at putting all this stuff on. So you're going to have, if you miss what I'm doing here, you can go back. Nikki has put them on our website. So on the website, you are going to see the corn dolly, the corn man, or the Kiernanos, and you're also going to see the horse. Okay, so this is a lot of fun. So you want to take a couple of these. Now, the first thing you're going to try and do, you don't want these to get too dry. For the arms, you can make them dry, but for the actual dolly herself, I call her Dolly, you don't want it too dry because you want to be able to work with it. Now, there are two ways to go about doing her head. That is really up to you how you want to do it. You can go the way of that. In here, it shows you to pull it together and then you turn it inside out and do it. That's kind of okay, but sometimes that's a little harder to do. You can actually leave the head open if you want to and just tie it here and just start the body here and you have the head here. It's up to you, or you can do the once over. It's kind of like a comb over, and that gives you your head. And I kind of like this way a little bit better, and you can always pull it in a little bit because it's not so hard for the kids to do, because once you turn her inside out, when you start to turn her over again, you're going to end up with a lot of tears, and you don't want tears because you're going to have to use. So you're just going to wrap it around a few times here, and that just gives you something to tie to. You can use any kind of twine, anything you have around the house. That's why the crafts are kind of nice because it's what you have. It's not exactly 100%, you know, you have to have a special craft or a special kit. I like to tie them once on one side, then I go back. And like I said, this is really a two-person job. This is when you have the kids, have somebody help you tie these things, because keeping it tight while you tie, you want to keep it a little tight when you're tying them because you don't want it to come apart. So we're going to do the last tie. Okay, so we have a corn dolly. Now you can tuck these in, tape them, however you want to. But we've got the start of the dolly. Now you're going to want to do her arm. If you peeled some from the day before and you have some that are laying around that are a little straw-ish, you can actually use these because we're going to trim them once we get them on her. And you want to twist them just like so. Now you're going to pick up her dress and you're going to look for somewhere where you can slip these in to make it look like arms. And usually if you laid it together right, here we go. I've got one, that's all we need. So now we're going to pull that through. She has arms. You notice it looks like she's got a little bib on her outfit. So you can pull the arms however you want to. Now you're going to want to tie another string. This is why we've cut a couple ahead of time. We're going to tie another string around her. And this is going to be a, oh, it doesn't. Okay, so we make a bigger one. Fumble fingers today. All right, we're just going to tie this around her. And those smaller ones we're going to use anyway because we're going to tie around her hands. The end of the stalks that we put on here, we're going to tie around because we're going to use those as hands. And you can see right here, you're said and done. Okay. It's always going to be messed up and you don't want it to be. If you two can do these crafts, you don't have to be perfect. I'm just trying to tie here. No, I don't tie my shoes very often. That's what happens when you use Velcro shoes. I live in Florida, so I wear sandals year round. Okay, you got that part done. Now, if you want, you can take, and this is the fun part, we can start to dress her now. Take and add a little layer. So we'll give her a little bit of a shoulder here. And also gives a layer to her dress. And you can tie it onto that. Again, you want to tie it again. And we're going to bring her dress out a little bit more when we do that. So you have your little dolly here. And let's see if we can just get her another one. Now, the other fun thing we can do with the corn dollies is once you get them all done, you can actually decorate their faces with magic markers. Or if you want to go the au naturel, you can dye them with food coloring. I prefer magic markers because I'm a little bit more talented with those. And you just tie her up. Every corn dolly is going to look different, and that's because every person looks different. So that's kind of a learning experience with your children. So you can teach them that we don't all look the same, so our corn dollies won't look the same. Then you want to tie her tight. Make sure she doesn't come undone here. And then you can move her little dress. You can put her on a stick to set her in the center of something. Or if you have something left over for Valentine's Day, like I did, we can move her and put her on our little stick here. And we have our little corn dolly. She's ready to go. Make sure you puff her little skirt out on here and tie her into this. And you have your little corn dolly, and you can dress her up the way you want to. For the man, all you do is, instead of this, you will spread these and you make it into a set of trousers. Trim, because you're going to want to trim these up just a tad so it looks a little bit nicer. And trim off some of these edges. And then you have your hands. And so you have your little corn dolly. And you can dress her however you want to after that. These are a lot of fun. As you make them, you're going to get used to working with the corn husks a little bit, and you'll get a better feel for what you're doing. Fun thing is, after you get them all made up, like I said, they never look like they do in the picture. You get your little man, your little Kiernanos. So once you do your Kiernanos, you're going to want to go outside and get a few sticks to put in his head for his antlers. And then you're going to have your last one is your horse. This takes talent. I'm going to tell you now. Unless you're really good or unless you really, really want to try it this one, you can try it this one. If you were not able to get fresh corn, like I said, you can pick up the corn husks. Any of the craft stores, Michael's, Walmart, sometimes carries them, but you can order them online now. This is the time of year when people are starting to do this, so they're going to want to start to ordering. So if you want to get them early, I would order like this week to have them in time because the COVID and all ordering's been a little crazy. Enjoy your corn dollies. Once they dry out, they do get crinkly and brittle. So that's when they start to split and tear. So they're fun to play with now because they're soft right now. But once they dry, these become very brittle. Okay. And that's when you get these like little things on them. So have fun with it. Enjoy it. And hey, how about send me some pictures so I can see how wonderful yours turned out? Because goodness knows yours has to look a little better than mine.
Okay. Okay, that was awesome, Pam.
Corn dollies.
That was absolutely awesome. I've never done corn dollies before, so that was kind of new to me.
We used to do them when I was a child back on the farm. Believe it or not, I've done real corn dollies after husking corn. As you're sitting there after you've husked corn for 2 hours, you have plenty of husks to choose from. But nowadays you can actually buy them already done in Michael's or Hobby Lobby has them.
Awesome. Awesome. And is there something that you can spray on the dollies to keep them from breaking so much?
Not really. You can try a light lacquer spray, but because it dries out and becomes straw, and it just dries out naturally and becomes very difficult to deal with. If you buy them in the stores, they are treated so that they do remain, they don't fall apart as easy. But if you do the natural ones, they will fall apart. They will crackle and break. Kind of like when you get palms on Palm Sunday for some church traditions. After a while, no matter what you do, those palms are going to pop on you and break. But it's a fun thing you can do every year with the kids, and improve a little bit on your dollies every year. So it's kind of a fun thing. And your idea of putting a lot of children's stuff in here is really a good idea. It's one way to share our tradition with our children.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I've never done those dollies. They look too complicated for me. So Pam, you can do all my dollies if I ever need dollies, okay? I'll let you do all.
Oh Lord, I hear a shipping order coming up now.
All right, Pam. So why don't you introduce the next video?
Okay, what do we got coming up next?
God's eye.
We got the God's eye, or the Ojo, as it's called. This is a really, really old one that's been going around for many, many, many millions of years, believe it or not. This has been around. And it's a pretty cool thing to do. It is found in many, many traditions. So ours is the only one that you're going to see it in. So take a look at the video and let me know what you think. And I really want to see some of your artwork when you get done with it. It's all yours, Nikki. Welcome back. We're going to do a God's eye or an ojo. This is a really easy craft. You need 2 sticks. God's eye and get sticks. These are just 2 straws I happen to have around the house, and some leftover yarn from one of my many millions of projects I've started. There are 2 ways of doing this. One way is to, when you start, just to keep wrapping. But since I usually work with younger kids, they get very frustrated if it falls apart while they're doing it. So they're going to want it tied. It makes it a little bit easier to start. So all you're going to do, get your yarn out of a knot first, and you're going to just tie your ends together. Okay, you're going to tie it. So you want to make an X. In that X, you want to make a knot. So you're going to go under. You're just going to make a knot. Whatever you do decide to use, make sure it's big enough that your child can actually work with the process. Nothing's worse than having it where the child's hands are the pieces are too big or too small, and the child can't really work it. I make an X with it. However, you need to start it for your child. Remember, this is a fun project. Change the colors as often as you want. These are very, very old, and they're in many different cultures. Got your little X going there. All right, and what you might want to do is cut off that end along there. Just snip it off. Try not to get your fingers in that. So now you start. You're going to go over. Now you can go over or under. It's up to you, but you must remain consistent. I like to go under, over, under. You want to keep it close now, because what you're going to do, going in. This is a meditation done by many cultures. And the meditation that you can do while you're doing this is understanding what it is. As you go out, you can do all different colors. Colors can be a symbol. Traditionally, this was a spiritual symbol, and the weaving process was reflective and meditative. As you get going, you'll find it's very relaxing, kind of like crocheting or knitting. The points of the God eye represent the 4 elements: earth, fire, air, and water. And the center of the ornament represents the eye of God. And is believed to have the power to see and understand see things that the human eye cannot. In some cultures, when a baby is born, the father will make a God's eye. He weaves it, and then every year he weaves another color into it until the child's 5th birthday. Now, if you want to make it representative of the colors, all you do is, as you're going along, you want to just change, you're just going to tie. You're just going to tie another piece on and just go from there. The colors can be whatever you want to make them. If you don't have access to yarn, many times you can go to the thrift stores and you can buy a bag of yarn for a couple bucks. You can even get popsicle sticks there in the crafts departments. I know that Goodwill here has a very large craft department, so there are lots of fun things for the kids to do. You just continue to weave. You can go under or over. It's going to take a little bit of time for your younger ones to get the hang of it, but don't stop them. Let them go as far as they can and give them a little hand with. After you're done, you're going to have a nice little God's eye that you can hang up and tell the story to. The other thing that does, it's more fun time. You know, you can sit down and talk about this. One of the things that I used to like to do with the Boy Scouts, actually Cub Scouts, was we would start these and we would put, of course, our colors blue and gold. But we would make them for blue and golds, and they would hang up all over over our tables so that it looked like showering lights of blue and gold. So you can do a lot with these. They're a lot of fun. The kids have fun doing them. It's a quiet indoor time to do it. Take them out if you want to. Let them find their sticks in the ground. It makes it even more special. And then you just add your colors as you go along. If you have no way of getting yarn, track down some old lady in the neighborhood. She's probably got tons of pieces. All you need are just small pieces because you just keep going on. It's kind of like the coat of many colors. And children will enjoy the colors and the different textures of the different. This is a very soft, this is a very harsher, this is more like a ruffle. Well, the kids will have a great time with it. It's a lot of fun to do. Hang them up, display them, have fun with them. And please send us the pictures of you and your kids after you've done them. It's really a lot of fun to share what you've developed and done together as a family. So this is a quiet time activity. This is a lot of fun. This can also be a starter for conversations. While you're just sitting there, it's easy to talk about things and just go through life with them. So I trust you'll have a lot of fun with these. Enjoy it while you can. Give us pictures. Give us some comments about how you like what we've done today. And if you'd like to see another craft. So have fun and we'll see you again.
All right. All right. So that was awesome. I didn't even know that about the God's Eye. I never had actually heard of it. And then I went looking on the internet, and in Thai, I think it's Tibet, they have round ones.
Yes, different cultures do them for different things. They've been around for a millennia, and every culture has a little twist on why they do it and the colors they use. Some use the colors of a specific, if you do them in the spring, you use springtime colors. You do them in the fall, you use fall colors. Like I said, with Cub Scouts, we did ours blue and gold and hung them from the ceiling, and it was like twinkle lights with our boys. And those kinds of crafts are crafts that you can involve all your children with. So the older ones can, weave things into them where the younger ones can just learn the weaving. I don't think we spend enough kind of quality time with our kids because we're all so busy on the internet, on our phones, and all that kind of stuff too. And now that the kids are home more because schools with COVID are not back in full time, it's a nice time to be able to sit down and have a little special time with them.
Yeah, it is. And to be able to do something that number one, it doesn't cost a whole lot. It's very simple. It's not a complicated thing to do. Is really great, especially when you get kids and they want to do something, to honor the holiday. Um, that's to me is really, terrific. It's a good way of teaching, our values and our holidays and our traditions. So thank you, Pam, for doing that. That
Very
was
welcome.
that was awesome, and I think you would probably have done a great one. So if you ever finish that one, which I know right now you got like 100 projects you're working on, you need to show
About
us. You really need to show us. So, all
I
right.
hope to keep the projects with the different holidays. Pagan projects are usually not expensive projects.
Yep. Yep. That's true because we're not expensive people. Okay. So now it's time for the divination to be able to do. And so I have researched and I've shown a couple of different divinations that we're going to be able to do. So let me go ahead and play that for you. No matter what holiday, divination is an important part. Like our ancestors, people want to know what is going to happen in their future. Our ancestors created some unique divination techniques for this time of the year. Apples are symbols and are associated with knowledge, protection, love, and magic. When you cut an apple in half, the seeds are in a form of a star or pentagram, symbolizing protection. If a lady has more than one suitor, what she can do is she can place one apple seed for each of her suitor, and she can place that on her cheeks here, and the one that actually sticks the longest is the one that she'll marry. So another apple divination is peeling an apple in one continuous piece, and then when you drop it in the floor or water, the letter that forms will be the first initial of your true love. But there's other divinations. He loves me not. Well, the source of he loves me or loves me not is a Michaelmas, which is a holiday similar to Mabon, and it's a form of divination. And it can be used with any flower. The most popular flower that is used is a daisy flower. It can be used with any yes or no question. Without counting the petals, you pull off a petal for he loves me not or he loves me, whatever the question may be. Like if I'm going to get the job, I'm not going to get the job, whatever the question may be. So anyway, let's say you're doing for he loves me not. So you pull off the first petal for he loves me, then you pull off the second petal for he loves me not. And you repeat that until you run out of petals. And the answer lies after you pull the last petal. Now, there is a Polish divination that I found interesting, and it can be done with a partner. And Pam's going to really love this because it involves one of her favorite pastimes, drinking wine. So, on a table, you place a glass of wine, a glass of beer, a glass of water, and the lady sits down with her back facing away from the table. This way, the other person is not intimidated by a certain choice. So once she is seated and her back is turned, the partner goes and picks one of the beverages. Now, if wine is chosen, she will marry rich. If beer is chosen, she will always have to work. And if water is chosen, she will stay single. So I thought that was a little bit interesting of a divination too. Let's see what Pam is going to be able to come up with. She's going to have to let us know about that later. And let's not forget the tarot deck. Depending on the questions and the reader, tarot decks can vary. I look for the most unusual tarot spreads and place them for, for Mabon, along with where I retrieve them in our Mabon Book of Shadows that will be available after the show. So I wanted to show you a quick Mabon spread. Now, this one is called Acknowledging the Transition. And as you know, transition is one of the themes of Mabon, along with life, death as well. So, when I found this one from the School of the Gypsy Arts, I thought it was interesting. What it is you have four cards and they're spread diagonally. And card number one says, as the nights get colder, what will the frost wilt and wither? With this card, this is a card of transformation or transition. It is the one that will highlight what transition that you're fixing to go into. Card number two states, what energetic cords need to be pruned during the fall so that I can bud and blossom in the spring? Now, this is a harvest card. What do you need to cut out of your life so you can grow and prosper? Most of the time, deep down, we really know what we need to cut out of our lives. But sometimes we need confirmation and permission because we don't trust ourselves. Now, with this card, you need to be able to trust yourself. So, this card is the one that gives you the confirmation and also the permission. Now, card number three states, with the darker nights approaching, how can I rake in my energy to hold the light for myself and potentially others? This is a card of opportunity. This card will give you clues into what you need to do to embrace this transition and become a better person for it. And card four, what dreams have ripened and need to be celebrated with a grateful heart? This is a card of gratitude. What do we need to be thankful for? We must be grateful for what we have in this life. Some people have the belief that they are entitled to things. I want to tell you here right now, and I think Pam's going to agree with me, there is no universal law that states you are entitled to anything. And so we must remember that. We have many things that others do not. So take the time to thank the goddess and God, ancestors, and the people in your life for their gifts and their contributions to your life. And remember, no matter where you are at now, you can always be in a much worse predicament. But also being grateful means that you're showing the universe you're grateful for what it's given you. And with that energy always comes back to you in a positive form. So those are just a few of the different Mabon divinations.
Cool.
Awesome.
I like that one. That was nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was really interesting finding out all the divinations, especially the one I think you're going to be fascinated with. So, we got to let the people know exactly when what happens. Do they use the wine, the beer, or the water? You got to let us know, Pam. You
Fine,
let us
hands down.
know. If they don't choose the wine, you're not going to be with them, right? Is that
You
what
got
you're
that.
saying? Is that
That's
what you're
what
saying?
I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh. Alrighty then. I think it is time for our music break. Miss
It sure
Dawn.
is. Well, we've got some wonderful music for you. Again, with the COVID-19, a lot of the artists and music makers of our tradition are no longer able to earn their keep. Many of them have gone to Zooms and different platforms, but it's not the same as playing for a group of pagans. So Nikki and I look at the albums, we pick a song, and usually it's one from an artist we have or will have on our show. And this is from an artist who is coming up on one of our shows. It is from her CD, The Undertaker's Daughter. It's called Carradewin's Cauldron, and it's by Mama D. So let's have a listen to Mama D.
I went to Carrot when asked for a song. She said, "Love, now what will you pay?" Well, I ran for my life and I ran for my soul as you followed me on anyway. And once she caught me, I never looked back, and this road and the road became one. Oh, I prayed for each union, I prayed for each end, till my own life it almost was done. Hey, la da 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 da. La da 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 da. My strings, they were dull, and my drum lost its tone, and my song, it was faded and slow. With my last bit of courage, I prayed to the one who had made me a bard long ago. I called to the cauldron, I called to the queen, and I bit off more than I could chew. Oh, I gave to her when my soul for her cauldron, for just one more taste of her sweet burning stew. Oh, Caroway's cauldron holds my soul. Caroway's spoon stirs me round. Caroway's flame, it warms the pain. And Caroway's brew, I will drink it down. I will drink it down. Carrots and eyebright and onion and tears and a stone like the one in my heart. Cider so bitter you think it gone bad, but bitter roots part of this scar. My spirit a veil and a heart that's so fine that it never again shall be whole. All the pain and the love and the stories they tell, heroin stirred them all into my soul. Heroin's cauldron holds my soul. Heroin's spoon serves me round. Heroin's flame, it warms the tale. And Heroin's brew, I will drink it down. I will drink it down. Drip the fat from your deepest sorrow. All be flame to clarify. Salt with fresh tears to taste of the taste. And pepper with laughter and hold that flame high. Oh, I'll take the sorrow and I'll take the pain that every new tale does require. For the light in their eyes and the light in their hearts as I share my song round the fire. Carowind's cauldron holds my soul. Carowind's spoon stirs me round. Carowind's flame, it warms the tale. Carowind's brew, I will drink it down. I will drink it down. I went to Carrot when asked for a song. She said, "Love, now what will you pay?" I ran for my life and I ran for my soul, and she followed me straight to my grave. Once she had caught me, I never looked back, and this broken road became one. I played for each me and I played for each end, till my own life it almost was done. Yes. Pale wings, cold wind holds my soul. Pale wind spoons turns me round. Pale wind's flame, it warms the tail. Pale wind's blue, I will drink it down. I will drink it down. La da 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 da, la da 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 da, la da 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 da.
Greetings. I'm Lady Nikki Kirby. You may recognize my voice from Witch Hat Chats. It is a privilege to be participating in the Halloween Psychic Fair. Do dragons fascinate and amaze you? Are you curious about what wisdom they may have for you? Would you like to get to know the dragons better and see how they influence and change your life? I am teaching a workshop called The Mysteries of the Dragon Tarot and Oracle. I talk about their history, magic, and their role in the Tarot and Oracle, and so much more. So to register, please visit www.halloweensocialfair.com. I look forward to meeting you and have an amazing day. All right. And we are back with Witch Hat Chats.
Yes, we got to remember our psychic fair that's coming up whole month of October. So actually September is Halloween Eve.
Actually, all year is Halloween. Okay. All
Halloween
right. Let's go ahead and make that official. All
official.
year is Halloween. Just the not normal people are the ones that don't just celebrate once a month.
That's right. I agree. It's all Halloween forever. I have
Yes.
enough purple.
Well, we're enough witchy for the whole Halloween thing anyway.
That's
So,
right.
yeah. Awesome. And when it comes to the Halloween Psychic Fair, Miss Pam and I, we will be participating in that. And so I've set up videos so you can be able to see those videos on Facebook. And you can go to www.halloweensocialfair.com and see what we are up to. You know, the witchy ones. That's the ones you want to go to, is to the witchy ones, right?
Definitely. Sign up. There are an awesome number of classes that are being held. Great teachers, great instructors. And we have a lot of people that are going to be reading and doing different kinds of readings. So it's not just tarot, it's a lot of different stuff. And it's going to be a lot of fun. It's all month long, so you can catch us more than once.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Awesome. And plus, they're having seances. Awesome.
Can't wait. Now, seance seating is limited. If you want to get your seance seat, you better look at it now, because I'm telling you, once they flip the on switch, those seats are gone in no time.
Yeah.
And I love that we have one price and can see all the classes.
Yeah. That's awesome. Plus, they have intensives as well. So it's like, we're going to have a variety of things. So the month of October, Pamela, we're just going to be boom, 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 boom. We're going to be slamming. Even though we're already boom, boom, boom. And now it's just going to go.
Yep.
And
please stop by and see some of the classes. It's one price. We have a one price for all the classes. Or if you just want certain classes, you can go in there and pop and pick what you want.
That's true. That's very much true. All right. So now we are going to get back and we're going to be doing the themes of Samhain. Yay. We're going to go do themes. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go.
All right.
That's not the right one. Okay.
And live TV.
Okay, we're going to do this. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Where's the point? Okay, there we go. The autumn season brings on the colors that represent the themes of the season. Brown represents grounding, healing, and home. Passionate red provides strength, life, and sexuality. Gold is prosperous and means the god. Orange represents positivity, success, and inner sheer will. Opens the door to the spirit world, psychic abilities, and inner mysteries. The Mabon contains different themes, including life, death, and transformation, the sacrifices of leadership, forgiveness, grief, and gratitude. These themes are consistently presented in the myths and lores throughout the world. And the sacrifices of leadership theme is apparent when the harvest and vegetarian gods, like the green man for instance, sacrifice themselves to ensure others live on by planting their seeds in the soil. It is seen as a cycle of nature coming to completion, ensuring a new beginning. These themes symbolize the seed being nourished in the soil and the rising sprout to be harvested in the autumn equinox. Mabon, which is one of the themes, is most recognized by the myth, and it comes from Celtic mythology. Mabon Modron, the child of light. Mabon was born to Modern, which is a great mother. But 3 nights after he was born, he was stolen from his mother. And in Madron's despair, her light disappears, causing the autumn season. Closherwall had a curse laid on him that he could only marry Alwyn, the daughter of the chief giant. Knowing his life would end the marriage of his daughter, the chief giant would not allow anyone to marry Alwyn. Do you know what? In order to meet the chief, he actually set down 39 impossible tasks that would not be able to be accomplished. And so he set these tasks before Calderon, and who accepted the challenge. Accompanied by his cousin, Arthur, and Arthur's best companions. The first task was to seek out Mabon. And so they had to rely on the memories of the oldest animals and eventually were led to the salmon, which is the most ancient of all animals. The salmon led them to where Mabon was being held prisoner. And so Colwyn and his companions fought for the release of Mabon, and they won. And Mabon joined them. And of course, eventually Colwyn won the hand of Alwyn. The lover and the son of the great mother, the green man is a spirit of the forest and wilderness. With his wildness and tenderness, he is the universal symbol of the male creative process. He symbolizes renewal as he guides and protects us on our showery journey. The Greek god of wine and cheer, Dionysus, is a god who dies when his pregnant mother dies, but he was rescued by his father Zeus, representing the dying each winter and being born in the spring. Kerwin is a barley goddess and is the autumn crone and the dark mother of mysteries. Her cauldron is known as the cauldron of wisdom, and this is a cauldron in which Bach drank from to become Taliesin. She is considered the goddess of rebirth, transformation, and inspiration. Now, Isis is the Egyptian god of magic, beer, life, agriculture, death, and beauty. She witnessed her brother Set kill her lover Osiris and threw his body into the Nile. Now, Isis set out to find Osiris's body and bring it back to Egypt. When she did, her brother Set cut his body into 14 pieces and scattered them throughout Egypt. Isis recovered each piece, put them back together, and formed a new body. She resurrected Osiris and gave him immortality. As a person who practices animal medicine, Mabon would not be complete without me telling you about some of the animals of Mabon. The blackbird was the first of the oldest animals the companions went to in order to search for Mabon. To see one of these birds brings a significant, deep meaning into oneself and his or her mysteries. Their songs help shamans travel between the worlds, people to retain clarity. Blackbirds remind us to live each day to its fruition and to be open to any insights that come your way. It symbolizes knowledge, critical thinking, and the power of words, because words can create, destroy, or inspire others to do great things. When you speak, speak with authority and truth. Now, the Solomon, which we already just said was the oldest of the animals, and that they guided the companions to Mabon. The Solomon symbolizes adaptation, change, rebirth, moving forward, happiness, and eternal life. Its message is to love every second of life, for it can change in a heartbeat. Salmons also represent fertility. For every year, they travel upstream to a place where they were born so they can lay their eggs. And this journey is a dangerous one. So be grateful for what you have is an essential in salmon medicine. Infinite wisdom and psychic abilities also are enhanced, so you can gain more understanding about this totem. Another animal is the butterfly. Butterflies represent life, death, and transformation. A butterfly's life is full of transformations. When the butterfly comes into your life, expect transformation and learn how to adapt to it. Their life expectancy is very short, ranging from 24 hours to 2 weeks. The longest one that's ever lived is 1 year. And they remind us to enjoy life, dance with the air spirit, and trust in the Great Spirit. It also reminds us of fertility. The Hopi Native Americans perform a butterfly dance to ask the gods to fertile their crops, and butterfly represents the soul. So, with this totem, you can learn a lot about your soul and how to align yourself with one's soulful journey. The stag, associated with Kronos, is known as the Lord of the Wild Hunt. A male deer's antlers start to grow in the summer and they are fully grown by September. So their antlers represent the male aspect of nature. The stag's energy brings independence, dignity, and fertility. And it is a great to bring new opportunities, ventures, and projects forward with immense power, integrity, and positive manifestation. The stag uses the Earth's energies to bring harmony, national progress, and patience. The stag helps you stand up for yourself, others, and your ideas and principles. The turkey vulture, which is one of the most misunderstood creatures, travels south to Central and South America during the autumn equinox to return during the spring equinox. They are very important to the ecology as they are the ones who dispose the dead, recycle their bodies, and also recycle the energy. Their symbolism follows Mabon themes as they clear out old patterns and what no longer serves you. Vultures teach us the value of caretakers and the dangers that they face with the sick and the elderly. The vulture helps people to return to oneself, ground after shape shifting rituals, and their symbol is a spiral showing one way inside oneself and another and the same way to emerge again. So there are the Mabon themes, deities, and symbols. All right. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Lots of good stuff. Lots of good information.
Yeah. It was just interesting when you start looking about the gods. The one thing I don't understand about goddesses here, okay, and maybe Pam, you can help me understand, is like let's take Isis for example. When her brother killed her mate and then threw her mate away, like it was nothing, and then she went and she got the mate and she brought him back, and then he chopped him up in pieces. Why didn't she just smite him?
You know, that's family.
It doesn't matter. I still would have smite him.
Yeah, I probably would have smacked him upside the head too. But that's family. Everybody's got that brother somewhere. It's interesting though that all the women tend to be healers. Did you notice?
Yes, every single one of them was. That
Is
was
a healer. So that's kind of a hint out there, ladies. We are the healers in our family. And it is true. If mama ain't happy, ain't no one happy.
Yep, that is very, very true. All righty. So Miss Pam is going to teach us how to cook. So you want to tell us what's going to come on up, Miss Pam?
All righty. Now, I'm originally from up north, so I'm used to having cold weather this time of year. Now that I'm down here in lovely Florida, I am getting used to not having my cold weather, but I still crave those cold weather foods. So I'm giving you a really quick now. Nikki did the divination with the apples. So if you just take those apples, you can turn them into a nice little treat for dinner. Go ahead, Nikki, show us what we're eating today. Down there. Welcome to the kitchen. We're going to show you how to make a really, really easy dish. And it's something the kids will even eat. It's a butternut squash apple casserole. And the purpose behind it is you get a lot of squash and it's got a buttery, nutty taste to it. So when you're mixing it with the apples and a lot of brown sugar, it's very, very sweet. More like almost a dessert rather than a dish that you can serve like for a vegetable. Squash, I don't care how you get it, they're hard to cut and they're hard to peel. You can do it many different ways. One of the things with the squash you're going to understand is it's hard to get that core off there. Some people will use a vegetable peeler. I've always found it easier just to go ahead and cut it off. Because what you're going to have to do is you're going to cut this butternut squash. Now, these things actually weep as you cut them. So while you're cutting them, you're going to notice you're going to get, it's going to be a sticky, almost like a honey type sticky. That's going to happen as you chop this up. So you want to peel your butternut squash. You can get them, they're a little hard. It's one of the harder ones. Usually the best way to do a butternut squash is to bake it in the oven. That will give you a nice, easy squash. But this one we're going to cook with the apples, and it's really a great dish. This is almost a vegan dish. If you use a margarine instead of butter, you have no meats and no fats in here to make a nice vegan dish. You're going to finish cutting off that. Now, when you cut open any of the gourds, you're going to get seeds in the bottom part of it. I cut mine in half to make it easier. I'm going to move this all to the side. I'm making a lovely mess here. You're going to try and cut this one in half. You're going to try and get this through. When you open it up, you're going to have seeds. You can actually take these out and cook these like a pumpkin. Salt them a little bit. There's many for this. And this is really a very nice dish. The pumpkin seeds are fun. If you ever have cut up a pumpkin and done the seeds, you can do the same with butternut squash. The seeds are going to have a different flavor, obviously. It's going to have nutty, richer flavor than the pumpkin. Cut all that out here. And again, you want to, there's the job of, again, stripping it. And you just want to get that outside layer off. That's the hardest part to get off. So while you're doing this, you're going to have your oven set on 350. The only other thing you need for this recipe are 3 tart apples. I'm going to tell you some of the recipes when they call for a tart apple, I would use a sweeter apple just because I have a very bad sweet tooth, as if you couldn't tell. So you're just going to want to take the apples and slice them up. Once you get all of this wonderful stuff done, we're going to go to the next step. Okay, now you've got your squash all cut up, and it kind of almost looks like a cantaloupe all cut up. You're going to cut up 3 apples. And like I said before, I kind of favor the sweeter apples. So you're going to want to cut and dice 3 good-sized apples. Using the tart, your best bet is probably a Granny Smith. That's got a nice tart flavor to it, and it has a really good aroma to it when it's cooking. If possible, I get these all chopped up really quick. Alrighty then, you should have your apples cut up, and it's going to look something like this. You're going to want to mix them up, mix them all together. You see the white with the apple. Your oven is on 350. Now you're going to have to melt 2 tablespoons of butter, so you can put that in the microwave for about 30 seconds. But I want to show you a trick with an apple. I did Boy Scouts for many years, and there's always a rule of thumb that if you take fruit out in the wild and you cut it lengthwise, if it forms a star, then it's okay to eat. And you notice our little apples have stars in them, so they're okay to eat. And this was done, the settlers and a lot of forest men will do this to make sure that the fruit is good. Got rid of your apples, you are done. There's a lot of good things you can do with apples, baked apples, stuff them, there's all sorts of good stuff. So the next part of our recipe is you're going to, and you put all that in a pan, your squash and your apples. Now, I like to foil my pans so they're not so hard to clean afterwards. I love to cook, hate to clean. If you're just gonna put it in your pan, you wanna spray just a little bit of cooking oil, actually on the pan itself. If you're cooking with a tin foil, you really don't have to do that because it's just to stop it from sticking. So you're gonna wanna take 1.5 teaspoons of flour, that little bit in there, and you're gonna take 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, if you cannot have cinnamon, because some people can't have cinnamon, you might want to try mace instead and just cut it back about a little under 1/4 teaspoon because it's going to give you a different taste. But if you can't have the cinnamon, that's one way to get out of that. There's your 1/4 teaspoon. And then it is 1/3 cup of brown sugar. Now, anybody knows that cooks, when you do your brown sugar, make sure you get it nice and warm into that measuring cup so that it gives you a good measurement. Otherwise, you're going to come up and it's not going to be as sweet as it could be. And that's the last thing you want is something that's not sweet, especially in my kitchen. So you're going to do 1/3 cup. Now, that's 1/3 cup packed. So you're going to have to make sure you pack it good and tight in there. And when you're done, if you take your brown sugar and put it in a Ziploc container, it'll stay fresh. And you want to mix that together because you're going to sprinkle this on top. So you want to make it sure that it all mixes up. Get it all, because what's going to happen is that little bit of flour you put in there is going to absorb some of the juices of the apples and off the squash. So it's going to give you a much better flavor for it. And it's not going to be quite so juicy. You've got your cinnamon in there, and of course your brown sugar. So you can sprinkle it on the top, just cook. And I like to cook mine well because I like to make sure that that squash gets cooked really well. Sometimes your squash, it's a little harder to cook because it's a much harder board. You want to make sure it's good and done. So you're going to put it in for about 55 minutes on 350. So after about 55 minutes, pull it out and just check that squash with a fork to see if it's as tender as the apples. Oops. And you want to don't forget to put your butter on. The butter just helps the brown sugar mix in. Go, good stuff. Put it in the oven. The rest of our dinner, because we're doing a big Thanksgiving dinner, and it wouldn't be Thanksgiving without a main course. So there's a really easy main course that you can do that still keeps things festive with the rest of the season. So what we're going to do is our next main course, while that's cooking, because I know if you're hosting something, you've got a million things going on. You want to get everything done as quickly as possible. This is tricolored tortellini. Little sausage, brown your sausage, start your tortellini boiling in a pot of water, brown your sausage, and you're going to use either a white sauce or you can, and I'll tell you there's times when, yes, I've done it, you pick out your jar. I prefer an Alfredo for the tortellini because it's a cheese tortellini and the cheese Alfredo comes out really good with it. And the sausage gives you your, and then for your next side dish, just pick yourself up some fresh corn at the local market. I went ahead and picked up some. So when you husk your corn, husk it like you normally would, break off the ends and pull down and hold on to that. Now you're going to want to get rid of what we call the hair. But once you pull these down, hold on to these because this is what we're going to make our corn dollies out of. You don't have to be super careful with it because the corn dolly doesn't really matter. Doesn't really care how careful you are. Husk and soak your corn, clean it up pretty good, and then hold on to those husks, okay? We're going to want to let them dry just a little bit, but not a whole lot. So you can do, if you start your dinner, you can do this. If you want to husk your corn early and prep for this, you can, and you can work on your dollies for the day. And then at night, you can just start your corn. But your corn is a nice addition, and corn we always do equate with, sort of like a Thanksgiving dish. That's your cooking for today. Now, the recipes are really easy. Obviously, Nikki's going to put up the apple butternut squash casserole so that everybody can see what was on it in case you missed any of it. And then the tortellini is just cooking the tortellini, cooking the sausage, breaking it up into little pieces like you would ground beef, and then just throwing Alfredo sauce on top of it. It's a very easy, quick meal, but it is colorful. You've got your orange and your greens for the season, got your apple and your squash to bring in as your harvest fruits. So you have a nice offering to the goddess and your family for a Mabon. Thank you, back to you.
All right, that was awesome. We can't hear you, Pam.
I said, oh, yes, that was really, it didn't unmute? Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I finally did. Finally unmuted. Yeah, I finally did. Yeah, that was awesome. And you know what? I was so glad that you gave a substitute for a cinnamon. God.
You don't know who can't have it till you start to cook with it.
That's true. And the thing about it is, when it comes to food allergies, they're very serious. And some people think, well, no, it's not that serious. You're not going to, be harmed by that, or you're just making that up. No, no, there's people that's actually allergic to cinnamon, just like there's people that's allergic to bees and peanut butter and all that other stuff. So, it's really great that we can find some substitutes for cinnamon, because every time there's something cinnamon, guess what? Sorry, can't eat it. It's just like we got these group of cookies that were given to us yesterday, and I, like you, Pam, I love sweets. I'm a sweet tooth, really, really bad, and I can't have it because they have cinnamon in the things, and they're chocolate chip cookies.
Oh no, that's a sin right there.
Yeah, that is a
That's
sin.
horrible. If
And
you cook, anytime you use the cinnamon, 9 times out of 10, you can substitute mace. Just use a little bit less of it. It's going to give the taste a little bit different, but hey, at least then you would have been able to eat them chocolate chip.
that is very, very true.
I
So,
always try to find out who's got what allergies before we cook.
well, you know what? That's a good thing about being a good hostess. Is to do that, so that way you don't run into any problems with that. Because, like I said, I've gone to people's houses and they know my allergies. It's not like I haven't said anything, and then they get upset because I have asked. What does this contain? And it's not because I want to steal your recipe. Because I'm going to be honest with you, people. I don't like cooking. I'm a good cook. My mom says I'm a fabulous cook, but I hate cooking. I absolutely hate cooking. So when it has something like that in there, if I'm asking somebody, it's because I need to know that certain things are in this. And then they get mad because I'm like, okay, you've got that one ingredient. I'm sorry, but I cannot have this. Is there and a lot of times when it comes to big meals, especially when it comes to meals from like the Middle East and stuff like that, I can't have a lot of their spices. And so I hardly eat anything. So it's like I'm serving bird food when I'm trying
Hey,
to eat,
us big girls need to eat. It takes a lot to keep these calories on. I'm telling you, I work hard at that.
That's so true.
I
So
have also found when you cook and take it to a gathering, Mabon, or a ritual,
mhm,
always write down what is in the recipe.
true.
If you have vegans in the group, I made that stuff with butter. That it's not going to harm them, but on the same token, they can't share in the feast with me if I did that.
Mhm.
So I used to meet with lots of groups in Baltimore. We did lots of cooking. We had lots of food all the time. It's one great thing about a pagan gathering: lots of food, lots of alcohol.
Oh yeah.
Never have to worry. But always, I found that I would write an index card and put it on the top of whatever dish I was taking to, tape it to the lid or something. And so many people would be so thankful because everything's listed. So if you had an allergy, you don't have to list how much you put in there. The apple squash, the reason I know we used it for vegan is because I made it, brought it somewhere. The young lady was vegan. I had butter. I told her because there was butter written on there. And she said, "Thank you for saying that." She took a little bite anyway. She went and made it with a butter substitute. I think she used a type of margarine substitute. And she said it was just as wonderful. So that allowed her, well, the next go round, I actually made it the same way that she did. I was able to bring it and make it 100% vegan for everybody there. So it makes a big difference. It just shows a little bit of caring. So I really recommend the index card and just list everything, including spices, because you don't know who's allergic to what. And nowadays, there are a lot more allergies out there than there were a few years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just like I was at one point when I was a kid, I wasn't allergic to cinnamon. I love Big Red and what was it? Hot tamales. There's a little hot
Oh,
tamale thing.
yeah,
I
little kids.
absolutely love those. And now I can't have them.
Wow. See, and your body changes every so often. So, yeah, it really helps.
And
Especially not just food allergies. It's something that you just can't have. Some people on special medications can't have certain things that's in food.
that's true. And, that's something that we discussed also in Red Tent. So that's another reason to be able to go to Red Tent. But now it is time for our Maybon spell. And although I did attempt to film this, like I said, I attempted to film this.
Oh, yes.
It just did not work. So I'm like, okay, we'll do it live. Yeah, we're going to do it live. Okay, so the spell is, nope, that's not the right spell. Okay, okay, stop sharing. That's not the right spell. This right here. It's still going to do that. Okay, all right. So let's try to do this, okay? See, we love live TV, don't we?
We love live TV.
We absolutely love live TV. Right, there we go. That one. There. Okay.
All right.
This spell is in our Maybon Book of Shadows, which you will be able to have at the end of our broadcast. It's going to be on our Facebook page. So you'll be able to download all the recipes and all the information and everything, including this one, which is called Giving Thanks to the Beloved Ancestors. Now, the supplies are very, very simple on this. You just need a piece of paper, a pen, a ribbon, a cauldron, or something that you can be able to burn it in, a candle honoring your dead, which can be either black, white, or orange, and an offering to the dead. So you can do one of those. And with that, I'm not going to do all the burning and everything because we're indoors and I don't want to do a Pam. I really don't want to do a Pam. I'm sorry, Pam. I know that really upsets you, but I'm not going to do a Pam. Okay. Uh,
Yeah, that would be really nice. Fire department close by.
it is, but still, I'm not going to do a Pam. Sorry, Pam. Hate to upset you, but sorry about that.
Breaks my heart.
So, but anyway, I'm going to share to you the altar here. Well, that ain't doing it. There we go. There we go.
These are our Johnny Carson moments. Okay. Johnny Carson was live for 30 years. So these are Johnny Carson moments.
And I'm sitting here wondering why this is happening. Okay, let's see here. Let's go ahead and kill this. All right, I gotta kill this one, I guess. I'll put it down. Here we go. We're gonna put it back
That's
up.
a lot of killing,
Well, it is Maybon.
That's true. Okay.
All right, let's share this again. Now, there we go. There's a copy of the altar that I was going to use, I attempted to use. Now, when it comes to honoring your ancestors, I'm going to go into ancestor altars in our Samhain edition a little bit deeper. But basically, when you're doing an ancestor altar, you just want something really, really simple. And so the frame happens to be my granny, and her name was Ruth Kenmore. And she was a Spitfire, real bad Spitfire. I loved her to death. I really, truly missed her. And the wild turkey here is what my papa loved. And so right there's your offering glass for him because he went to Clemson. We're Clemson fans. Yay, Clemson. And that's something I'm always offering to him. There is the candle right here. I like to use a lot of the tea light candles if possible because number one, I don't have to worry about a holder. There's my thing. I don't like to have a separate holder for everything. I'm just one of those people. Plus, on top of that, you can be able to recycle it once it's done. And here is the piece of paper. Now, on the piece of paper, you want to write about what you are grateful for what they gave you. And make sure you're very, very particular about this. And then there's the cauldron. There's my cauldron. The one good thing that my ex-husband actually gave me was my cauldron. And you can't see in the back, but the back has a lid to it. So if when you start burning things, if it starts getting on fire, you can be able to put it out. Now, I want to talk to you again about a little bit about fire safety here, because Miss Pam and I have had our experiences. You can be a high priestess too, of how things have gone wrong or gone slightly astray when you start using things such as burning, because what you want to do is you want to burn that letter, and the burning of the letter is going to cause the ashes and so forth, and then after the ashes you want to be able to spread them, either at a crossroads, would be good, around their graveside if you can be close, something to that effect. However, when it comes to fire, make sure you have something you can put it out with that's close by. And that includes anything that a lot of people, they'll use like alcohol. They'll put the uh, letter in alcohol so it can burn faster. Don't do that. Just don't do that. If the letter goes out, all you gotta do is take a little lighter, light the sucker again until it's burned. Easy. But don't put the alcohol in there, because when you do that, that introduces another element, which means you need a different type of something to be able to put it out, depending on what the other element is. Okay. Um, and we don't want to get into that because I am not a fire expert. All right. I am not a fire, I can make them, but putting them out is just something that I'm like, okay, I'm not a fireman. I'm not an expert, so I'm not going to do that. But anyway, like I said, be cautious. If you're going to burn something, try to do it outside. You don't want to light your curtains on fire. I've done that. Been there, done that. I've lit my curtains on fire. You don't want to light yourself on fire. I mean, Pam is the expert there, with her Phoenix Rising ceremony that she tries to accomplish, every single time. You don't want to do that. But as it is burning, you want to say something like, with love in my heart, I want to thank those who depart. Your blood runs through my veins. Continue to guide me on this life's train. I love you and will never forget, even the ones I have not yet met. Your love is no doubt. Blessed bees throughout. And you want to include the ones that you have not met and that you will never meet, because they have made sacrifices as well so that you can be here. And you want to make sure you honor them as well. So that is the end of that spell. Yay. Like I said, short, simple, straight to the point. I'm one of those type of people. I don't like big rituals. I mean, Pam and I, when we talk about rituals and stuff, I'm not the big fancy one about rituals. I'm simple, straight to the point. Let's get it going, let's get it done, and then we can go and have some more fun. So, also in the book, I want to go ahead and tell you that I have also included, let's get rid of this so it don't come back up. Where is that other one? I want to talk about these books for a minute. Where are you at? Okay, here we go. Let's see, I want to talk about these books for a minute here. This is some recommended reading that I have done in addition, so it can be able to give you more information. Now, there's many books on Mabon now. Back in the day, and Pam can go ahead and verify this, there wasn't really anything. This was before the internet and everything. So since the 2000s, we've had several people to come out with books on Mabon. Now, the one to your left is the latest edition from the Llewellyn Sabbath Essentials. And that's in a whole series by itself. With this one, I really did like it because she gave some different types of divination. She talks about how it's celebrated throughout the world. She gives several different recipes, including recipes for oils and how to be able to make things and cooking and all kinds of really good things. Now this other one is older. I mean, it's older. It's back, I think it was 2002 when it came out. And that was part of Lou Ellen's first editions when they were trying to do a what do you call it? A book for each holiday. So that's the reason why it's a little older. You're probably able to get a little bit cheaper. I only paid $2 for mine. So with it, I did like it a little bit more because it not only does it talk about the different types of how it's celebrated throughout the world and some hot and some recipes and stuff, it gives you the animals that are actually involved in it. It gives you a lot of good details about some symbols and exactly what the autumn equinox is according to the scientific version. So I really did enjoy reading both of these. And like I said, they're just recommended for you to be able to use them. And all of this will be printed in our Book of Shadows, which Facebook would not allow me to put the PDF up. So I had to transfer everything into images. So when it comes time after the broadcast, Facebook's going to put up all the images. So all you got to do is just print out each one of them and put it into a little nice little book for you. Very simple, very straightforward. And you know what, Pam? We need to say what we are thankful for. So would you like to go first?
I, at the age of a crone, you really start looking over your life to what you really need, what you really want, and you start looking and you start being grateful for just the small things. A lot of the small things are just someone I can say hi to, someone who just stops by, who remembers me, someone who sends me a nice little email or a quick Facebook, hi, are you okay? Um, that's people are more, I'm more thankful for people because people are what makes your life worth living. And it's just not, kin, it's also your clan. And I have a very large family and I'm extremely thankful. I have almost 25 first cousins on one side. So we're a large clan and it's thankful to be able to see them, talk to them, meet them on occasion. We're all over the world. I'm a part of the military family. My dad was in the military. A lot of my uncles were. So my family's scattered everywhere. But um, Facebook, I am thankful for Facebook because that's how I can stay in touch with all my family. And that's pretty cool. I have a special shout out to a granddaughter who just graduated high school.
Oh, congratulations.
Number three. I'm so excited. She is my son's oldest daughter, and she graduated high school, and she's doing very well. So I'm thankful for the young people that nowadays it's a little different raising a child than when I raised mine. So shout out to all the moms, thanks, and all the dads who step up to the plate. Thanks. We really need you guys around. Nikki?
Like you, I'm very thankful for the small things. I'm thankful for the people in my life. I'm thankful for my mom. Without my mom, I don't think I could be able to do half the things. Actually, without my mom, I wouldn't be born. So, of course, I've got to thank her. I'm very thankful for my ancestors. Like I was saying, my granny, she was a Spitfire and she taught me a lot, especially about how to stand up for yourself. I'm very thankful for Pam for us coming together and being able to do the great things that we have done and that we will continue to do. I'm thankful for all the opportunities that have been presented to me and all the lessons that I have learned. Because you know what? The thing about it is, you will not be the person you are today unless you had to go through whatever trauma you had to go through or whatever obstacle you had to go through. Those are what your response to those is how that defines you. So make sure you understand that and be grateful for that. So I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my chosen family, which everybody who knows who my chosen family is. And, this is a good thing to put into your journal that Pam had talked about when you write every single night. Because with me, the first thing I do is I start with what am I grateful for? Because even if I'm having the most absolute worst day, I can be appreciative of something. And that tells the universe a lot when you're appreciative of things, because it's saying to the universe that that you're willing to give back, you understand what people have given you, and that you're not selfish. That's really a lot. So that's pretty much, I can go on for like another hour of what I'm thankful for, just like Pam can. But you know what? That's the end of our session today. That went
Session.
quick. God, that
Yeah,
went.
they seem like they go quicker every week, guys. They really do.
I know it does. But thank you, Pam, for helping me host this and present to
Thank you for
our audience.
having me.
Thank you, audience, for watching this. And do us both a favor and yourselves. Wear your mask. Okay? Wear your mask when you're out there.
Please.
Please, because COVID is not something that's an invention. It actually exists. We know people who have had it and who have died from it. So, like I said, wear your mask, be safe out there. And with that, we're going to say goodbye.
See you next week.
No, I don't want to end my